Good morning, Madam Secretary. Thank you for all that you're doing to bring cleaner, cheaper energy to our neighbors back home. It's so gratifying to see the infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act passed in the last Congress really delivering for our neighbors back home. Cheaper energy through renewables or energy efficiency or being able to weatherize their homes. So thank you. It was difficult for me to keep up with your opening statement on, and it's been difficult to keep up with the announcements on clean energy manufacturing opening up. So can you go through those again? Did you say 600 new clean energy projects over the last, is that?
Since the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law, 600 factories, 400 of those involving EVs or batteries, but 600 factories, is that right? 600 factories, for sure, in this clean energy space and opening up in all pockets of the country.
An attraction of private investment.
Attracting private investment, of course, because these factory announcements, this is separate from the Department of Energy funded. These are from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Congressman Peters said $649 billion in private investment.
Huge, because there's a 30% tax credit, and then the private sector comes in and puts in their amount. So there's massive investment.
So these are good paying jobs all across America.
All across America.
Bolstering our supply chains. So when I hear some of my friends across the aisle say, this is helping China.
No, China's, I think, very upset that we are doing this to attract all of the components of the supply chains here. Now, China had a huge footprint, right, on particularly the critical minerals and the processing of them for batteries. And so we have been very aggressive about trying to get those components back in the United States. And it's work. We have to continue to work at it. But the bottom line is China sees a threat.
They sure do. And Ranking Member Pallone says the Republicans are misleading the public. I would just call this a whopper. It's a whopper of misleading the public. And in fact, just yesterday, a company visited me here in Washington and said that they are going to open a manufacturing plant for solar in the Sunshine State, which is welcome with 1,700 jobs, which is welcome. I've also listened to some of my colleagues talk about the price spikes, and as a matter of fact, on the front page of my hometown paper this morning, the Tampa Bay Times, they say, why Florida electric bills skyrocketed recently. Here's why. You know what they say? It's because of the exorbitant price of frack gas. Florida, you'd think, as the Sunshine State, would be reliant on solar power, the abundant, free power of the sun. But you know, our utilities rely on frack gas. 75% of our electricity generation comes from frack gas. So what this analysis says is that the utilities, of course, passed along those price spikes to consumers. From 2020 to 2022, price of gas more than doubled, an increase that the Economic Forecasting Center called incredible. It's alarming to just see these prices keep rising markedly the last couple of years. It's like an apocalypse. And then as gas prices have come down, the utilities haven't really passed along the savings. Meanwhile, they're slow-walking investments in solar. The state of Florida is not passing along rebates for for energy efficiency. They're slow-walking weatherization. What does that mean to consumers that are struggling with, by the way, the hottest temperatures ever last summer in July and August, so they have to run their air conditioning bills?
Yeah, thank you so much for your leadership on the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, because they really are providing consumers with options to be able to make their lives affordable, at least on the energy side. If you can install solar panels, and if you're low enough income, for example, on weatherization, you might have solar panels installed so you can generate your own, in addition to saving energy because of installed efficient appliances and insulation. Thank you for 10
Can I, since my time is limited, and I get so worked up over this, as you can tell, but the grid liftoff report also highlighted some of the barriers across the country that Congressman Peters talked about, yes, in permitting, but just this outdated structure where you have states that are making critical decisions and throwing up barriers. Are you able to work with states and RTOs and others to really get the gets onto the grid and help them with increasing line rating and delivering cost savings?
A lot of them, but some of them no. Some of them are not, it's new, and so utilities, of course, are risk averse.
I think I understand that in the so-called Sunshine State